What if the reason you keep making the same mistakes, choosing the wrong people, staying in the wrong situations, circling the same pain over and over, isn't a willpower problem? What if it isn't even a healing problem? What if the real issue is that you have been trying to navigate your life with information the world gave you, when God has a wisdom available to you that the world literally cannot access? 1 Corinthians 2 says there is a secret and hidden wisdom of God, destined for your glory before time began, that has never been on the shelf at your therapist's office. It was not in the self-help book, and it is not in your ex's opinion of who you are. It is hidden, and it is yours. And today, I am going to show you how to receive it. Welcome back to Beyond Believing. I am Katie Ann, a certified life coach, single mom of 5, and a woman called to walk alongside divorced Christian women as they rebuild their lives with Him. Last week, we established the foundation. God is the original source of all truth. And today we go deeper because God doesn't just hand you truth from the outside. He has a delivery system, and it is one of the most remarkable gifts available to you in this season. Here's what we are covering. First, what Paul means by the secret and hidden wisdom of God, and why it was destined for you before time began. Second, how the Spirit searches everything, including the deep things of God, and what that actually means for your discernment right now. And third, what it looks like to receive that wisdom, the posture, the practice, and the promise that holds it all together. Let's go. So point number 1, there is a wisdom the world cannot give you. Now, I want to start with something that Paul says in 1 Corinthians 2:2. For I decided to know nothing among you except Jesus Christ and Him crucified. Everything filtered through one lens, one original. Paul is not being intellectually limited here. He is being intentionally anchored. He knows that all true wisdom flows from this one source, and he refuses to be moved from it. And then verse 7, he says, but we impart a secret and hidden wisdom of God, which God decreed before the ages for our glory. Hidden wisdom decreed before the ages for your glory? Not for the spiritually elite, not for theologians, not for people who have their lives together, for you in this season, in the middle of the rebuilding. This wisdom was not invented. It was not discovered. It was decreed, determined by God before the foundations of the world, and it was decreed for your glory. That word glory in the Greek carries the idea of dignity, honor, and weight. And God determined before time began that you would have access to a wisdom that would restore your dignity, your sense of worth, your footing. And then Proverbs 2:1-5 tells us exactly what our posture toward it looks like. He says, my son, if you receive my words and treasure up my commandments with you, making your ear attentive to wisdom and inclining your heart to understanding, yes, if you call out for insight and raise your voice for understanding, if you seek it like silver and search for it as for hidden treasure, then you will understand the fear of the Lord and find the knowledge of God. Search for it as for hidden treasure, not casually, not when it's convenient, not when you've run out of other options and finally opened your Bible because nothing else worked. Search actively, persistently, like someone who knows exactly what's buried and will not stop until she finds it. Here is what I want you to understand about this. For the woman who has lost so much, who feels like she is starting over with nothing, this hidden wisdom is your inheritance. It is not contingent on your marital status, and it is not forfeited because of your past. It was decreed for you before any of this happened. The world could not give it to you in your marriage. Your ex could not carry it for you. Your therapist cannot access it on your behalf. Your church community, as good as it may be, can point you toward it, but cannot deposit it in you. Only God does that, and He does it through His Spirit. So here's the question that changes everything. If this wisdom is hidden, if it was decreed before time began, if no human source can give it to you, how does it actually get from God to you? How does it travel? How does it land? Because Paul doesn't leave us wondering. He tells us exactly how it works. And this is where it gets remarkable. Point number 2, the Spirit searches everything. 1 Corinthians 2:10 says, these are the things God has revealed to us by His Spirit. The Spirit searches everything, even the depths of God. The Spirit searches everything, even the depths of God. Think about what that means practically. There are things that God knows about your situation, about what He has already arranged for your future, about who you are becoming in this season that you cannot reason your way to. You cannot therapize your way there. You cannot figure it out by analyzing your ex's behavior or projecting your past onto your future. The Spirit searches the depths, and He reveals what He finds there to those who are His. This is not mysticism. This is not a feeling. This is a promise with a mechanism. The Spirit searches, that is active. He reveals, that is intentional. And that revelation comes to a prepared heart. Now I want to be precise here because this matters theologically. God does not need your permission to work in you. He is not standing at the door of your heart hoping you'll let Him in. He is God. He changes hearts. He softens what is hardened. He opens what is closed. Ezekiel 36:26 makes this plain. He says, and I will give you a new heart, and a new spirit I will put within you. And I will remove the heart of stone from your flesh and give you a heart of flesh. I will give, I will put, I will remove. That is God acting, not waiting. What we are talking about is not giving God access. What we are talking about is positioning yourself to receive what He is already moving to give you. There is a difference between a closed fist and an open hand. God can work in both, but only one of them can receive what He's offering. 2 Corinthians 4:18 says, as we look not to the things that are seen, but to the things that are unseen. For the things that are seen are transient, but the things that are unseen are eternal. What is in front of you right now is transient. Your ex's choices, the loneliness of a Tuesday night, the fear that this is as good as it gets. What God is doing beneath the surface, in the unseen places, through the Spirit that searches everything, that is eternal. And Psalm 86:11 gives us the posture that positions us to receive it. Teach me your ways, O Lord, that I may walk in your truth. Unite my heart to fear your name. Unite my heart, an undivided heart, not a perfect heart, not a healed heart, not a heart that has arrived, an undivided one, a heart that has stopped splitting its attention between the original and the counterfeit, between what God says and what the wound says, and has turned fully toward Him. Now, let me show you what this looks like for the chaser and the cutoff. For the woman who keeps chasing, who keeps reaching, keeps pursuing, keeps choosing people and situations that feel like connection but leave her more empty, the Spirit is not absent from your life. He is searching the depths, but your attention is so fixed on what you can see, on what's in front of you, what's available right now, what might feel the ache, that you are not positioned to receive what He is revealing. The pattern doesn't break because you try harder. It breaks when the hidden wisdom of God becomes more real to you than the counterfeit comfort in front of you. That is a Spirit work. And it begins when you stop searching for silver in places that only have gravel. For the woman who is shut down, who is armored up so completely that nothing gets through, I want to say this gently, but very clearly. Your walls do not protect you from God. He is already at work. He is already searching. What the walls do is make it harder for you to receive what he is giving. The wisdom he decreed for your glory cannot be received through armor. It requires an open hand. And opening your hand after you've been hurt, that is not weakness. That is the bravest thing you will do in this season. I had a client ask me once, what do I do when I don't feel him? And this is what I told her. Sit still longer. She came back to me the next week, and in her stillness, grief found her. A box from her wedding in her garage. And instead of running from it, she stayed. And God met her there with Matthew 13, the wheat and the tares. Don't uproot the painful memories. They grew intertwined with the good ones. That is his work to separate, not yours. Not yet. She didn't have to be angry. She didn't have to hide. She just had to be still. That story is in episode 69 if you want to hear it in full. And that is what the Spirit searching everything actually looks like. So the Spirit searches everything. The hidden wisdom is decreed for your glory. And God is already at work, whether you feel it or not. But there is still a question that every honest woman in this season is asking. Maybe the most important question of all. And it's the one Job asked from the ash heap. How do you actually know? Not theoretically, not theologically. In your real life, on your worst days, when nothing feels certain. How do you know what's true? Point number 3, how you receive it. The posture, the practice, and the promise. Job 19:25 says, for I know that my Redeemer lives, and at the last he will stand upon the earth. Job said this from the ash heap, not from a place of comfort, not after God had restored everything, not once the pain had passed and he could look back with perspective. He said it in the middle, from loss so complete it is almost incomprehensible. Sitting in physical suffering, relational abandonment, spiritual confusion, and in the middle of it all, he said, I know. That is not intellectual certainty arrived at through calm study. That is not a theological position he had reasoned out. That is the hidden wisdom of God deposited into a spirit that refused to stop seeking the original, even when everything around him pointed to something else, even when God felt absent, even when his friends told him God had abandoned him. I know that my Redeemer lives. That is what is available to you. That quality of knowing, not certainty about your circumstances, not certainty about what your ex will or will not do, not certainty about whether you'll ever find the love you've prayed for, certainty about him and who he is, about the fact that he is alive and active and standing at the end of this story. And Psalm 25:4-5 says, which we closed with last week, takes on a new weight here. Make me to know your ways, O Lord. Teach me your paths. Lead me in your truth and teach me, for you are the God of my salvation. For you I wait all the day long. All the day long. Not once in the morning, not in the good moments, all day, every hour, in the school pickup line, in the middle of a sleepless night, in the moment your ex sends a text designed to destabilize you. All the day long. That is continuous posture, continuous seeking. And here is what it produces. Not eventually, but now. Discernment. The ability to know his voice from every other voice. The ability to detect a counterfeit, not because you studied every false version, but because you know the original so intimately that anything which isn't it feels immediately wrong. This is why the treasury agent framework matters so deeply. The agent isn't fooled by the obviously bad counterfeit. She is trained precisely because the dangerous ones look exactly like the real thing. The disguise is convincing. The deception is sincere. And only someone who knows the original with that level of intimacy, who has spent time with it, studied it, handled it, can tell the difference in an instant. That is what time in His Word builds in you, not information. Intimacy. And intimacy produces the discernment that protects you from counterfeits in every area of your life, your relationships, your decisions, your theology, your self-understanding. And the promise that holds it all together? 1 Corinthians 2:10 again. The Spirit searches everything. That means He is searching the deep things of your situation right now. He is not confused by your pain. He is not limited by your history. He is not put off by your doubt or your anger or your grief. He searches everything, even the depths, especially the depths. And He reveals. That is the promise. Not maybe, not if you're good enough, not if you've healed enough or prayed enough or figured enough out. He reveals His wisdom to those who are His, who have turned toward the original and said with an open hand, teach me, lead me, make me know. That is how you know. Not because someone told you, not because a tradition handed it to you, not because it feels true or seems logical or aligns with your experience, because the Spirit of God, the one who searches the depths, has revealed it to yours. That is a knowing that does not shake when your circumstances do. That is the foundation part one pointed you toward. And this is the mechanism that builds it. This is the work we do inside Selah Healing. Women come to me who have been studying counterfeits their whole lives. Counterfeits of love, of identity, of what a godly woman is supposed to look like, and they don't even know it yet. They are always learning and never arriving, always seeking and still not finding, because they are looking in the wrong places with the wrong tools. Through our 12 weeks together, we go back to the original. We study what God actually says about who you are, about what love looks like, about what this season is for, about where you are going. And the Spirit does what only the Spirit can do. He makes it land. Not just as information, as transformation. Women leave Selah Healing knowing, not just believing in a surface way, actually knowing with the kind of certainty Job had, the kind that holds in the middle of a hard Tuesday, the kind that makes the counterfeit obvious the moment it walks through the door. If you are ready for that, if you are done circling the same pain and ready to seek the hidden wisdom God has already declared for your glory, I want to talk to you. Find all the details at coachkatieann.com/call. Limited spots, real work, the real Him. Here's the full picture across both of these episodes, and I want you to carry this with you. There is a truth that is eternal. It does not shift when your circumstances do. It does not change based on what you were taught, who left, what failed, or what you feel you've lost. God is that truth. His word is its expression. His Spirit is its delivery system. What God asks of you in this, what He has always asked, is not performance or perfection or even understanding. It is surrender, humility before Him, a willingness to be refined, redirected, and rebuilt by whatever He determines you need. Yes, stay in His word, not to earn His presence, but because that is where He shapes you. Study the original, not as homework, but as the place where He meets you and makes you new. Search for it like hidden treasure, because it is hidden and it is yours. Pray like David. Make me know, teach me, lead me, unite my heart. He already knows how to find you. The question is whether you will stay still long enough to let him. If you've been carrying a faith that was handed to you rather than revealed to you, if your marriage, your traditions, or your circumstances have shaken what you thought you believed, I want you to know God is not offended by that shaking. He is often the one doing it because he wants you to know him, not a version, the original. That is the work. And it is the most important work of your life. And if you want support doing it with women who are in the same season, Selah Healing is where that happens. Find all the details at CoachKatieAnn.com/call. And if this series has meant something to you, if it has opened something, illuminated something, confirmed something God has already been whispering, would you just take 30 seconds and leave a review on Apple Podcasts for me? It's how other women who need this message find it. And it matters more than you know. Thanks for being here. Have a great week, friends.